So what was your relationship like with Vince? Did you talk with him much or no?
Yeah, I had a couple private meetings with him. I only really I spoke to him after matches. You're in Gorilla, you say, hey, thank you for the match and that kind of stuff. But I really only spoke to him when I had something important to tell him. There's a few times where you say some things to a writer and the story, or he might not take it to Vince. So if there's something you're really passionate about, you take it to Vince. So when I was transitioning from I don't want to do the Sheik character anymore. I want to do this Daivari De Niro thing. That was something that I took straight to Vince. I went and knocked on his door and had a meeting with him and said, this is where I see my character going. And I think it would, do better for the show and all that kind of stuff. And he was all about it. And I had a few more like one-on-one meetings with him, but they were always pleasant. I never had a bad experience with Vince at all.
So, So did he have any input into the decision to send you and your brother out into Saudi Arabia at the greatest Royal Rumble, waving an Iranian flag? And
yeah. So from what I was told, that was requested from the Saudi prince. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Wow.
But I mean, he books the show. At the end of the day, it was his idea, and us, or me particularly, being fairly new at the time, like you're not going to say no to stuff. And all this Saudi stuff was like a big deal. It was a big money deal. It was backstage, they made it seem like how important these Saudi shows are to the company. So it wasn't something they're doing the very first one. And as a cruiserweight, I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm not doing this type of thing. Like you just kind of have to do what you're told, or at least that's how I felt about it. And the only reason my brother came is, some people may not know this, but my neck was injured at the time. Like I was completely on the injured list. And they called me one day and said, hey, can we get your brother's information? Because we'll just send him to go do this thing. And that was a situation where I was kind of like, oh, damn, maybe we can do something together. And I told them, I said, hey, if you guys will let me, like, I'll still go too, injured or not, and maybe me and my brother can do it together. And they were all about it. So that was the reason why, if you ever go back and watch it, he took all the bumps. I just got like pushed onto my ass and rolled out of the ring. And then he took all the bumps because I wasn't cleared to take any bumps at that point. So that's why they brought my brother along too. It was looking back on it in hindsight, and like I said, everything hindsight's 2020. Like I wish we didn't do it. I think, and you never want to disrespect people. And it's not like people in the United States were upset about it, but people in Iran, people in Saudi Arabia, they didn't like it. And I said, my goal was never to offend anybody. You never want to do that with your wrestling. I really care about wrestling. I really care about my work. I don't want to offend anybody or stuff like that. So, that was why I took it upon myself to put out that apology. Nobody told me to do it. The company didn't ask me and all that stuff. I said, I'm going to do it myself because I want to make this right. If it truly offended people and they're not understanding that this is just a show, then I'll say, I'm sorry. It wasn't really a big deal to me to apologize for it.
Yeah, the geopolitics of it were way over my head, but I just knew watching it, I was like, this is way more precarious than walking out into Turner Hall in Milwaukee.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you fat rednecks, you love your fast cars and big women. Yeah. That's a very different scenario,
Yeah, it is. And and the only part that I take partial blame for is just being uneducated on how big of the tensions are between like Iran and Saudi Arabia. Like you said, the geopolitics were a little bit over my head. Yeah. I didn't know, because here's the thing, it's pro wrestling. At the end of the day, how many like kind of offensive gimmicks and character segments have there been? There's been tons. I didn't know this one was such a big deal that it was really going to like really offend a lot of people in those countries. So that was why, like I said, I put out that apology, because I said, oh, like if this is one of those things that people are truly upset about, then like, yeah, I apologize. We definitely shouldn't have done that.
And you got like death threats coming out of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to this day, every once in a while, I'll still get a DM on Instagram out of the blue about like, F you, you piece of S and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, damn, like people are really upset about it. But again, I like to let people know, like, look, that was wrestling. The cameras are on. It was a character. That's not how I really feel. I'm not really about that. I'm a guy from Minnesota,
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I was watching it and thinking that. I was like, this is a big step away from where you cut heat promos in the Midwest.
Yeah, right, yeah.
This is next level stuff here right now. So you explained what happened with the injury there. I was actually going to ask about that. I was also going to ask you guys, obviously Monsoor was like the big guy to get over there. He's getting a big push right now. What's it like? What is this guy? I don't really know anything about this guy. What do you think of Monsoor? How is it working with him?
I think he's a great guy. Like I don't really know him too well either, because after that I didn't see him for a long time, and then just this recent run of when 205 during the pandemic hooked up with NXT. That's when I started hanging out with him a lot more. But no, he's a great kid. He's really young. He's very agile. I think he has a very bright future ahead of him. I hope like he's not too much locked into just like only being like this Saudi Arabian guy and that's it. I hope he gets to be more than that and actually just be just a more regular member of like the WWE roster. So time will tell on that. But I think he has a very bright future. He's really nice and he's always willing to listen and learn. So I got nothing but good things to say about Monsoor.
So you